As many of you know, I have many controversial guests, so that comes at a cost of being demonetized everywhere. So if you want to support the program, go to fightbackpodcast.com, and I have all kinds of merch on there, whether it's jiu-jitsu, fighting, political, and other accessories. And thanks for the support. Here with Chuck the Iced Man Liddell. Pretty much everyone knows who you are. You know, one of the most famous fighters of all time. Been a good friend of mine for 25 years, so it's pretty fucking wild.
Long time, man. It's crazy to think about that, how long ago it was when we started. So.
Yeah, and you were
You
were the first person I knew who got famous, and you said such a good truth. That was so such a cool moment for me. You probably don't remember, but like you just blew up after Ultimate Fighter, and I hadn't seen you in a while, and I ran into you with Antonio. We're hanging out in Vegas a little bit, and Hugh Hefner was having some party when he was alive. We went to go in, and they're like, oh, well, Chuck can get in, but your two friends can't. And I'm like, all right, see you later, Chuck. And you're just like, what the fuck? Why would I go in without you guys?
I'm like, I ain't going in. We're good. I'll leave. Oh, they're
We ended up
come with you.
Yeah, we ended up all getting in, but that was just
like, that's not cool. Like, if I go out with people, I'm not. You can come, but they can't. Okay, then I go somewhere. I go with where my friends go. Like, I'm not going. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was so cool seeing that, and I realized like, oh, I'm the one treating you different. You still treat me exactly the same, like we're boys. Like, what? Oh, I'm the one being weird, not texting and calling you. You know, so I realized, oh, I'm treating you different. You're not treating me different. That really made me think.
Yeah, that's cool. No, you've always been a good dude anyway. So
even recently, just like the loyalty of your friendship. You know, I had a arrest warrant for that Mike Jackson I beat up, and you had an attorney help me remove. I didn't even mention it to you, and you had you went out of your way to have an attorney help me get the warrant pulled. I'm like, dude, what a good friend, you know?
Yeah, no, I heard about it. I'm like, this is BS. That was crazy, man. That idiot, man. But you know, I actually tell that story to people all the time because that's one of those things. It's like, look, like you told me, like, hey, look, you don't get a pass. Like I give people a pass on the internet.
But not other fighters.
But like, look, you're another fighter.
So it's different with fighters.
We're the same person. We're the same people. You're in our circle. You're a fighter. You think you're gonna walk up to me after talking a bunch of trash? Like I did the same thing to Tito. Tito said, I don't take white trash bitches like Chuck. Right? I saw him in a club. We were at a club. My buddy said, you need to squash with Tito. I said, fine. Walked up to him. I said, hey, man. Yeah. I heard what you said. I said, oh, man, I wasn't talking about your girl. It was a different girl. Talking about he's an idiot. I was talking about Juliette Lewis. She's not white trash, number one. She plays them on TV, you idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Two, this is my girlfriend. I said,
don't respect your girlfriend, yeah.
First, this is my girlfriend. Apologize. You apologize. I said, okay. Secondly, you ever talk about my family and friends again or a radio interview, I swear to God, I'll come beat you in your living room.
Damn.
You got that? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, man. I apologize. Okay, and we're good. Just to keep it there. But it's like, hey, man, you don't get a pass.
No.
I mean, fans, you talk all the shit you want.
Yeah.
I go, I don't care. Do I care? But if you don't think you can come in. If you're going to come in.
You're another fighter,
Come somewhere I'm training at and show up, and like think I'm going to treat you like a normal, like you're just okay, like you didn't just talk a bunch of trash about me. That's not true.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, I'll let like regular people talk shit, but if you're like a top jiu-jitsu dude or fighter, no. Like there was a dude that trained at like another gym that I went to sometime, and he was talking crap to me on Facebook. It's like, bro, I'm gonna see you. So when I seen him at the gym, he like panicked and ran out. But like I said, the same thing as Mike Jackson. He was talking crap on Twitter. He fights the UFC same way. We agreed to fight me, and I seen him, and he just panicked, bro. He's like, no, let's fight in Houston instead. I'm like, no, we got an agreement to fight, and then he pressed charges after I beat him up.
Yeah, and that is being a pussy.
Yeah, such a pathetic coward. Yeah. But no, like, thank you for having a lawyer help me fucking.
No problem.
That just shows what a real dude you are.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
You were like, you were the first fighter to cross over to like celebrity. What was that like blowing up so quick?
It was pretty crazy. It went from me being able to walk into a room and go, okay, that guy with the tap out shirt knows who I am. And maybe that guy over there and probably those two over there, but that's about it. So walking through a mall and a 60-year-old lady going, hey man, good fight the other night. I'm like, what? Like, how do you know me?
It's
like,
crazy.
It's crazy. It was that fast,
No, I've hung out with you a lot, and it is just nonstop. And even today, you handle it so well. You're so patient. Take pictures with everyone. It's like
it's one of those things. Like I look at it as a blessing. You know, that if I can make someone smile, make them feel better about for just a minute, for a day, you know, for taking a picture with them or whatever, or just being a nice interaction with you, you know.
No, they really appreciate it. I know it's exhausting and a small thing, but like it can mean so much to people sometimes.
Yeah, and you know, and don't get me wrong, like I understand, like if people forget time and a place, there's idiots.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of idiots. Like I had guys get mad at me I had a guy get mad at me one time for not shaking his hand while I was pissing.
Oh man, the bathroom thing is weird.
No,
yeah.
When the guy's asking, it's by mistake. It's funny, like because normally you go, oh, hey bro, I'm pissing right now. Like, can we do it after? were you out of the bathroom? Yeah, sure. Oh yeah, sorry. That's funny.
Yeah.
Like when a guy got mad and stormed off, that I said no, I'm seriously not gonna. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna shake your hand while I'm pissing. Like that's weird.
Yeah, that's definitely
like,
weird.
Like why do I want to? Or like I had a guy one time get mad at me for like I was climbing on a jungle gym chasing two of my kids.
Yeah.
And asked me, hey man, can I get a picture? I said,
Let me chase my
when
kids
I'm done,
first. Yeah.
you know, he said, oh, what an asshole. Like,
You know, the time and place, like you might
really, come on.
Yeah, you might be dealing with a kid, or like you said, especially if I go to UFC, people in the bathroom are watching pictures of me. I'm like, bro, let's do it outside of the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm not taking a picture of
But,
the. They mean well though.
But most fans are great. Most people. But the other thing I want people to remember too. Remember when you go up to a celebrity, someone who has some fame and has some. When you ask him for a picture, you ask him for an autograph, you ask him for some of his time. It's his time.
Yeah.
It's a gift he's giving back to you. He has the right to say no.
Yeah.
You don't have the right to get mad at him for not doing it. Now, I'd much rather. I enjoy the fact that I can we get the interaction.
Yeah, you're great with your friends.
I like that. You know, I can make you happy. Hey, you know, if you see me, come on up. You know, sometimes remember time and a place. You know,
Yeah.
remember like. But like I go out of my way, like I even tell my kids, like, hey man, you know, some of this we got to put up with a little bit because you got to do a lot of crazy things.
But your life's pretty good, exactly.
Life's pretty good because of these people, because these are the people that make it that way. So, you know, it's just a good way to look at it, and it's a good way to teach them. It's my way of giving back a little bit to them just by helping.
I think some celebrities don't appreciate the fact that your fans are who make you. And don't get me wrong, I've nowhere near the fame of you, but it's still, there's times where it can be annoying. But you should be really happy that people appreciate you. So to not be appreciative to the people that appreciate you is kind of a fucking dick move.
Yeah. But again, you know, I think sometimes, like I know I talk to some of my friends that are like actors and stuff like that, where they come up and they yell at whatever character they are. You're a fan
That
of
would
the
be
character
annoying.
they play, and they're like,
Yeah,
it's like, you know, I don't want to waste my time. You like the character. You don't call me by my name if you're gonna call me. You know, at least. You know, and like, or the other one too. Like I was with Michael Phelps, and some new guy got up, took a picture with me, and then Michael said no, but it was his rule. He said, hey, and he explained it to me. He said, hey man, after I started drinking, I'm not taking pictures.
That makes sense.
And the guy's like, got all pissed. I was saying to me, oh man, what an asshole. No, don't believe that. He's not an asshole. He has a rule that he's on it. I've been with him. I said, we were started at the beginning. You know, he said it has his thing that people have the
reasonings, yeah.
The reasoning behind things, and you just got to kind of do it. You know, it's like it is their right to say no.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, remember one time I was the front row UFC, and a guy about 20 feet back was trying to call me back for a picture, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I can't. He's like, oh, you're a dick, but you don't understand. If I would have walked back there, people would just swarm you, and you can't just walk around the UFCs.
And you have to remember sometimes that there's places I've been at places where the security asked me not to do it anymore. They're like, hey guys, hey police, you're causing a problem.
Oh yeah, if you walk around UFC,
I
it's just pandemonium. People just flip out.
We went to Talladega one day with Dana. I went out to Talladega and had my son with me. We went out and kind of went in the infield where everyone's in the RVs and stuff the night before. And I started walking through there, and such a big crowd came around us, and the cops actually came in and escorted me out and asked me to stay out of there.
Wow.
No,
it's just
you're causing a problem. When there was no big deal, just crowding in, but they were worried it was going to cause some kind of problem.
Yeah.
They're like, look, you need to get out of here. We don't want you here. It just is what it is.
They're kicked out for being too famous.
They kicked out for
But good problems to have. People have a lot worse problems. That's when people bitch about it. It's like, bro, look what you're bitching about. Look what you know. It's a damn good problem.
Well, I explained the other day. Like I told a friend of mine, a football player, and we were out, and you know, somebody came up asking for a picture. And the guy he goes, oh, okay. I'm like, bro, like, why'd you do that? Like, but it didn't click in his head. It was like, well, look, if you're going to say no, I'm not going to say anything. It's your prerogative.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's always your choice. But if you're going to say yes anyway, why not do it with a smile?
No, exactly.
It's quicker.
And the guy's
It's
gonna.
actually quicker. Like there's times when people, oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Or I get the people come up and call me by the wrong name. And,
I get that sometimes
ask
too,
me
a different fighter.
ask me for a picture, and I'll take it with them and go. I'm like, why did you correct him?
It's not worth. It's not worth the time.
If I correct him, it's gonna take 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And he just messed it up.
And he might not believe you anyways.
He was excited anyway. He was just excited, and it's always somebody I fought. So
Yeah.
it's like he was just thinking of that fight. So he just said
Kevin Randleman.
Yeah. So it was always like.
It's so funny.
Although I did one time, I just started laughing. It was someone called me Rampage. I'm like,
I'm not black.
bro, come on.
The only time I cracked.
You can't mix that one up.
No, exactly. The only time I cracked to someone, and someone's like, Sean Shirk. I'm like, bro, he's like 5'5". Don't call me Sean Shirk. I get Chelsea. I used to get Chelsea Sonnen all the time, Mike Thompson, but I look kind of like those guys.
Yeah.
For you, you're so unique looking. I'm surprised you even get it. Now I feel less insulted.
Yeah, a lot of them, it's always someone I fought. So it's like, I think they're running out of their mind. That's what comes out like, man, that's not what I said.
Do you ever have people get insulted because you don't remember them? That's a weird one. So I just go, good to see you again now. I've had people get so mad, you don't remember me, but they don't realize like how many people come up to you.
I actually try to play it off sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I sometimes do.
I try to play it off too, and but I've had people, and like a lot of times I recognize people. I recognize their face, and I don't recognize where I know them. But you got to remember, a lot of times, I'll get guys like, hey, remember that time we took a picture in the elevator in Vegas?
It's like, yeah, I literally have thousands of people coming up.
One time in Vegas in an elevator. Can you give me a little more?
Yeah, never done that before.
Like, did we do anything? Is there any reason I should have remembered it? Like, it's tough, and but it is funny. Like people call me all the time, man, you remember me from this? I'm like, can you give me a little? Actually, I had one today. Like today, we were out at SHOT Show, and I had a guy, but he actually started talking about it, and I'm like,
Then you actually remember him exactly.
I didn't recognize it was him that was there, but I remember that story completely because he gave me a shirt at this event that we were at. And we started talking through it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that because I was.
Now I actually remember you.
I was shooting a movie out here, and I remember other bikers pulling up, and because we were riding motorcycles, and he pulled up, and they gave me their hat, and I actually remember that. Actually I do remember.
I do remember you now. Yeah,
that's cool. But that's
I switched it up real quick to when I first met you through Jeremiah Miller, my wrestling coach. I seen you. You had your mohawk, and you had the tempo tattoos. I was a punk at the time, getting in street fights all the time. I thought I was badass. I looked at you. I'm like, I'm gonna fuck this guy up. Went to spar you. You weren't even going that hard. Is the funny part, but you weren't trying to knock me out with headshots, but you hit me with hard body shots.
Yeah.
But at least you weren't trying to knock. You hit me some headshots, but you weren't trying to knock me out.
Yeah, no, I always when I sparred, especially with newer guys too. But we always body shots are legal.
Yeah.
Anything with the body's fine. And take it easy to the head. And the guys who were really trying to come after me.
Then you try to knock them out. Yeah.
No, the guys who are really trying to come after me. First, I go hard to the body. And there are guys if someone if they're coming in, and I'll give guys warnings like, hey man, hey, take it easy. I always hey, we're just working. Take it easy. We're just working. Okay, you want to fight? We can fight.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
That's good.
Now do it.
First.
I give you your warning. I'll give you a fair warning. If you want to go, we can go.
Yeah, you don't want to be knocking out people.
It's not. It didn't prove it.
Yeah, it's what you do. I remember we sparred. You hit me with a good liver shot, and I go, and seized up. As soon as I seized up, you came and just popped me in the same spot, and I just dropped me, and you're like, never show you're hurt. I remember that the rest of my fucking life. That stuck with me forever because I was like shocked that you came and as soon as I go, I thought you'd ease up, and you go, bam, the exact same spot. But I remembered that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was one of the lessons I always try to teach. Don't show you're tired.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tell a story too. Like it's funny. I tell a story about because I talked to Randy's corner after the first fight when I lost to Randy, and leading up to that fight, I hurt my knee coming in while I was training. So I was healthy when I got to the fight.
Yeah.
But I hadn't wrestled that whole time, so my wrestling condition.
Wrestling was off. Yeah. It's different conditioning.
When I went in there and I was dying, and so I was in the corner just all over the place. And so his corner told me that, and I think it was the third round or something where he's going, Randy was like done, gassed, ready to go. And they hey, look at Chuck. he's done. You can keep pushing him. He's tired of that. And that stuck with me. Because I'd always said that, and I was one of the things like I'm not doing what I tell people like. Don't show them you're tired.
Yep, that's crucial too.
Really,
it builds the other guy's mindset.
If
yeah.
you show me you're tired, I will never get tired.
Yeah. No, if I see my opponent's tired, I get so excited. Yeah.
He's tired. I've got him. So it was one of those things. It's a learning lesson. It's like, hey, and I try to pass that on to the guys. Like, hey, don't show you're hurt and don't show you're tired.
Yeah, great lesson.
You show me you're tired. You're.
It feeds the other person energy.
It feeds their energy. It gets them. Because it's a wrestling mindset where you're like, I got this guy. I got this guy. I'm gonna push it. And I was always that way when I was a kid. Like when I started wrestling when I was a kid, I remember telling one of my coaches one time, like, "Hey, he's like arguing on a call. Get off the mat. He's tired. He's tired.
Ready to go. Yeah, we don't want to stall time."
And you can see the guy's face go, "Oh, this guy just wants to go."
It starts breaking people. Yeah. In the liver shot when I fought Yushin Okami, he nailed me with a hard liver kick. But I remember, don't show you're hurt. Don't show you're hurt. I circled, regained, and came back and won the fight. So that's like so. If I would have gone like, he could have came and knocked me out. Yeah.
If you show it. Like if you show me you're hurt to the body, I will just kick you to the body.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Maybe you kicked me. I can't remember the shot. I remember you dropped me with liver shot.
Kick or punch you, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't.
I'll keep going after it.
And people who don't know liver shot is like one of the most painful things. After like a nut shot, it just like seizes the whole body down.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And sometimes it's worse as far as seizing the body. Yeah. It's guys get caught.
Yeah, the pain. Like I said, you remember it years later when you get hit with a bad liver shot. You're just like, oh, nasty. One thing about you too, people way underestimate your wrestling. You were a college wrestler at Cal Poly. So I remember trying to take you down.
It was I was one of those guys that, like, even in college, I wasn't a great wrestler in Division I, but I was really hard to score on. It was hard to take down, hard to turn over, hard to score on at all. So I mean, it wasn't that great at scoring either. But I was hard to score on, so it really kind of played into
perfect style. Yeah, you weren't taking guys down. You were like sprawling. You also have a really, really good half. People way underestimate your jiu-jitsu. People ask me, "Oh, you smash Chucky's?" I'm like, "Bro, this guy's half guard. You get your feet so good with it. You're so hard to keep down." Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's funny that people are surprised. Like I had a guy. I told this story recently, but I was at John Lewis's. Had a school. Was teaching a class at Unbreakable in L.A. I was there, and he's like, "Hey man, you want to roll with my guys? My guys are going right now." I don't roll in a gi much, and he let me borrow a gi, so I had a white belt on. He was borrowing a gi. And I go in there, I'm rolling with one of his brown belts, and I sweep him a couple times. I swept him pretty good. And swept him. The second time I swept him, he's like, "It's like,
yeah,
I thought you were a kickboxer."
I got both.
You do realize I've been training with your coach since '97. Like, it is 2000. It was like 2014 or something. I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah, I should.
I don't know.
I picked a little bit of this up. Yeah,
I picked a little bit up as I went. But it's funny to me still that people are surprised because for me, like when I got into MMA, that was actually my most interesting part of the sport was learning jiu-jitsu, because I was a wrestler. I've done karate, kickboxing, been fighting my whole life, and that was kind of mixing it with the jiu-jitsu was kind of the most interesting part of the sport. So it's something the newest part to me.
Oh yeah,
doing the rest for a long time, and that was new to me, so it was fun.
Yeah, I think you were the first major guy to push kind of the sprawl and brawl style, or one of the first.
I'm known for it, yeah.
Yeah, stopping guys, take down. When you get take down, you'd bounce back up.
But honestly, what allowed me to do that was that being comfortable that if I did get taken down, I could get back up.
Yeah, and that's really frustrating too. If you're a grappler and you take someone down and they bounce back up, it breaks you.
And you got to remember too. Like I was taking things from, like, Scott Adams would show me, like he rolled a knee bar, right? But I bet, wait, halfway through rolling to this knee bar, I can just I can hit my stout and be out. And so people would be defending the knee bar, and I pull my leg out and stand up. And they're like, "Oh shit,
I can just get up." Yeah,
oh, he's gone. Damn it! So I mean, a lot of that stuff was like was good for me. Like not a lot of people did what I did back then, because they'd be trying to defend something they thought I was going for, like a normal bottom guy. And I see that a lot now with guys training. Like I see that hole, like where they see them on the ground. They get down, they can take it down. They got decent jiu-jitsu, right? But they don't how they're using it like they're doing it like a jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah, and jiu-jitsu to make grappling is so different.
They're trying
Yeah.
to submit. Like they're not trying to stand up.
Mm-hmm. You're 100% agree. There's too many guys that get taken down, and they're just trying to either hold and go submissions. You should be trying to get up in MMA.
Yeah, because I watch them, and I'm going like, and it's not like the other guy on top's trying to is doing anything amazing to keep him down. They're just not doing anything. They're not trying to get up.
Yeah,
to me.
there's a lot of guys that aren't. Who's good? Sean Strickland's really good at getting up. If you're watching his fights, he does a great job. He's really hard to hold down.
And that's one of those things that like Sean O'Malley against Marab. I think we talked about that earlier. Like he just like I'm watching it going, oh, he's not even trying. Like I'm guessing he just doesn't have that style to get out or that bottom. Like it's one of those. I'm like, man, it doesn't even look like he's trying to. He didn't look like Marab was doing anything miraculous to I think. By the way, that last fight was Marab's fight. That was.
I love Marab. He's savage, right? Fun. I won money on that one too.
That was a fun fight, man. That was a fun fight to watch. Those guys went after. But you know what? The funny thing, he made me look great with my buddy. I was the buddy that's just a casual fan, but I was talking to him saying, yeah, these guys. Normally, these guys are kind of wrestlers and they kind of negate people's stuff with their wrestling, but. Both of them are pretty good wrestlers, so that sometimes turns into a really good striking.
Rob was throwing. It showed he had better stand-up than people thought.
Yeah, well, it turns it into a good brawl because they can't negate the other guy striking by wrestling.
No, that was such a good fight, though.
That was fun. That was a fun fight to watch.
Rob's a gamer. Back to the getting up real quick. I think a problem is these guys go to jiu-jitsu gyms, and jiu-jitsu guys accept going down, and they don't work getting to their feet. And for MMA, you better think get up, get up, get up.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what it is. I think when we first got I got a lot of guys that came to my gym, came back in slow, were coming in as wrestlers, and what I was seeing was a lot of guys that started learning a little jiu-jitsu, and they get in a 50-50 position on a takedown and then pull guard. I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah. You're a wrestler. Your guard sucks.
Yeah, don't do that.
Submissions from the bottom suck. You're great on top. You suck on the bottom. So you don't get to do that. Don't ever do that again. If you're 50-50, you don't like it, get up, stand back up, and take another shot.
Yeah.
Don't take a guy down. I don't want you on the bottom. Now, it's just like most of my guys, you and Glover are probably the two exceptions of my guys that I was okay with them dropping to guillotine.
Yeah, but it would only if I had the guillotine, though. I would have I wouldn't go to the guard unless I had the choke. Yeah, exactly.
But if you guys make the decision, I'm okay with it.
We have it.
Anybody else?
But that's the rare exception.
By the way, anybody else, if you do that, don't come back to the corner. I'm going to hit you with the chair.
It's funny. Even though I do that, I teach my guys, do not do that unless you've really mastered it. I only done that because I've mastered that move,
and that's what I'm saying.
So I tell guys not to do it, too.
You guys are guys that once you, that you have, that I'm pretty confident that you have a better chance of not finishing it. Most people that do that
should not jump to guillotine.
Should never get jumped to guillotine. Use it to stay on your feet. Use it that you try to finish it on your feet. You can't do that.
Yep. And then just let it go, or try to snap down like a regular front headlock for wrestling.
Yeah, for sure.
You mentioned Glover. Something really cool and interesting is he was one of your primary sparring partners through the peak of your career, and then he just came and won the belt. Like that's just so fucking awesome.
That was so awesome to see him come back. I mean, because he really got hindered by being.
He got couldn't get in America for years, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was kind of a BS thing, but it is what it is. He got back, and I was so happy to see him.
Me too. He's just such a good dude, Glover. He's such a good. Always helped you as a sparring partner. Will always help you for everything.
Well, I'll tell you the funny thing. You say that my two guys that never said no to me were you and him. You guys, both of you guys. It's anybody. You guys, anybody wanted to wrestle. Anybody wanted to train some more. Oh yeah, I'll do it. I remember I'd get done with sparring and Glover would go over and start wrestling with all the wrestlers. He always, and those are the guys that that's what makes you guys good.
Well, also it's like if you're training for a fight and you ask me to train, I love wrestling, but it's also like, how am I not going to help you out when you're training for these big, massive fights? So many people are so disrespectful, at these gyms. I got in fights with that at Caesars before. There'd be a good guy in there, and I needed rounds. They wouldn't do it, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to fight you instead. I let those guys know. I set the tempo real quick when the Brazilians came in, oh, I'm not training. It's like, dude, I ain't training partners right now. You're getting the fuck out of the gym. I'm going to beat your ass. The sport used to be hardcore in our era. It was
for sure.
Fights in the gym were all the time.
Yeah.
It was so cool when I first started training there because you had a small split with Hackleman for a year or two, and that's when I was there. So unfortunately, I didn't train with him much. So there wasn't a ton of coaching, but I pretty much just watch what you did and try copying you. And
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, and it was I remember, you know, you're hard to read sometimes. The first couple months, I didn't know. I'm like, I probably know you. You might hate me. I'm thinking, but then remember you invited me to Big Bear with you, and it was with like Tito, all those guys, the Fertitta brothers had just bought the UFC, and that's when I'm like, oh, Chuck must like me.
Yeah.
Or like me enough to drive out there.
Yeah, it was I guess I have a hard read for a lot of people. But yeah, the problem is I just assume people understand me.
I'm actually very similar to you, where I'm very serious in the gym. So a lot of people think I don't like them when I don't dislike them. It's just when I'm in the gym, I'm just like all business.
It's funny. I used to get people a lot go, hey man, is Chuck mad at me? Like look, if you need to ask if I'm mad at you, I'm not.
Yeah, people are gonna know. Yeah, you'll know if I'm mad at you. You'll know.
At you, I'll let you know. I'm pretty good at. I'm pretty easy to read. Like I'll let you know if I don't like it, something you're doing. I'll let you know. I just not too often. I'll let you get away with anything I don't like. So.
I think because we go in the gym, our mind is like so laser focused. We don't say hi to people and stuff, and they take that as like, oh, he's like an asshole. But it's like, no, bro, I'm getting ready to spar. Somebody's trying to fight me. I ain't worried about you. I'm like getting my head in the right space.
I'm training. I'm getting ready to train. I came here to train. I'm doing my study thing, and I'm getting out. And I'm here. Okay, I'm working with you. I'm working on your stuff real quick, and then okay, now I got to go. I got to do my thing.
Yeah, like sometimes going to like regular gyms in the middle of like sets, guys try coming up and stuff. Probably particularly for you, because it even happens to me. You probably can't really go to normal gyms, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean, again, it was one of those things like I get it. It doesn't happen too bad, but I get my training partners all the time. If it gets bad, they'll say something.
They'll be like, "Hey, let them work out."
You know, if you want to wait, and I've gotten to the point where that's the other thing too. Like I don't mind telling someone to wait. Like hey man, like
you have to have your boundaries. Yeah.
I mean, but I just tell them, hey man, I'm training with these guys you're taking from my friends, so let me finish this up and I'll do it. If it's quicker to just do a quick picture, okay, fine, get them out. But if they start wanting to talk,
you start like grabbing you and shit.
I'm like, okay, man, I'll be done, and if you want to wait half an hour, I'll be done. Let me I'll work out with my buddies. I'll talk to you on the way out or whatever, But.
Yeah. Just really don't talk to me in the bathroom or get a picture.
Just wait till after the bathroom.
Yeah, so I didn't ever get after I met Hackleman later, he's insane, your coach, in a good way. I love John Hackleman, absolutely insane. But like I trained with him a few times, but never got to train under him. What was training under him like? Must have been pretty nutty.
Oh, it was awesome. John was great, man. I love John. He's a
unique guy.
Being,
I'm trying to get him on the podcast because who knows what he'll say.
You never know what he'll say, yeah. But John's great now, and it was like, it's one of those things. We started training when I first started doing kickboxing, and started training with him after meeting him at a karate gym that I used to train at. So you know that story.
I don't know that.
I used to train at this Koikon karate school that was up in San Luis Obispo. I had been in there a while because we were doing my own thing, and they called me in to spar with this guy, and they had this black belt coming in to spar, and they didn't have anybody in there that could fight with anybody, so they called me in, and so I went in there, and I was probably 22 at the time, something like that. It was John, and I come in there and sparring with this guy, and we did some wall training. It was more like karate sparring, like it wasn't full on, but it was like kickboxing and everything, but it was like. We did points, like kind of almost like hard point sparring, and then some wall training. We did some against Ron. I took him down a couple times, but other than that, and they were there afterwards telling me, "Oh man, you kicked his ass, you did this." And I'm like, "What fucking fight were you watching?"
Yeah, right. It's not what you go. Yeah.
I don't know. And I was talking to him in the back, and he gave me his card. He said, "If you don't want to come train at the house, you come train with me." And he handed me his card, and it said world champion kickboxer on the bottom of the card. And,
oh wow.
Okay. And so I didn't think about it. And then that week, by chance, week I was going to watch Alfie Alcaraz. He's a good friend of mine. He wrestled with me, and I got him into kickboxing. After I got him interested in kickboxing. So he started kickboxing. And he had a fight out in Vegas. So I'd come out to Vegas to watch a fight, and we went to weigh-ins. And he goes, and his Nick One Kick.
Yep.
Comes over to me and goes, "Hey man, Alfie says you're pretty tough. You want to fight tomorrow night?" I said, "Sure, why not?" So he's gonna, and they said it has to be weigh-in, and they're like, "So how many fights do you have?" Like, I haven't fought. And they're like, they looked at Nick like, "Really? This guy has he's gonna have him fight he's gonna have me fight his main event because the guy
damn,
like he lost his guy, so it was like 15-0 or 15-1, I don't know what it was, something like that." And so I went, and he saw I looked disappointed. So he went, well, hey, man, just go home and train, and I'll put you on the next card. Nick, Nick told me so.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, I'm driving home. I'm looking at this car. Oh, wait, I got that card. And said, John Hackleman, you know, world champion kickboxer. I'm like, so I called him up. So I show up at his house, and we go up to the old pit at the top.
Yeah, I've been to his house. It's like crazy old gym.
Went up at the one that up at the top. So we went up there, and that's all he had at the time. So we went up there, and he's like, well, let's just do some boxing sparring. And I'd never done just hands my whole life. I'd karate.
You were way more kick based, yeah.
So I was more hand and feet. Always had. So it was just boxing. So he's like, oh, okay. And you know, he's like he had 20 pro fights. Boxing, and,
wow.
And had like 30 or 40.
Yeah,
like,
so it's not a regular karate guy when he says karate, yeah.
Kickboxing fights, you know, so he had like 60 some odd pro fights. And like, I think he had 200 amateur fights. So
wow.
Boxing, like, he was on the all-army boxing team. I mean, he's obviously not somebody I should be boxing. So we started sparring, and he had a buddy, Jesus Sanchez was there, and I think John proceeded to give me a beating.
Jesus.
For 19 straight minutes.
Wow. Just
One 19-minute round, and finally Jesus says, now please stop. I can't watch this anymore. He couldn't watch me get hit in the head again.
Yeah. John was probably just testing you to see if you'd quit, or
I don't know. He was just going out. I've known John.
Just a mean man.
Have guys come up, and he'd have guys that want were tough guys, and he'd come up and he'd knock them out. Most of the time, the guys that come up to us go that for years after that.
He's probably shocked you weren't going down.
Yeah,
but the hell this guy won't go down.
And then he's like. And well, honestly, then I came up on my motorcycle and it started raining, and I was going back. I was about to go. All right, man. Thanks. He's like, you can come back tomorrow. You want to come back tomorrow and train? So, yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll come back. And because I was like really interested in fighting, and then he's like, well, I'm on. And I was gonna pull get on my motorcycle. He's like, nah, man. He's like, hey, you come back tomorrow? Here, push your motorcycle in the garage and just take my truck. Well, no, man, I'm fine. I'm cool. I'll be all right. It's like it's not really that bad. So no. You come back tomorrow, right? So, yeah, so I put it first. This is the second time I met him.
That's insane.
He told me the keys to a brand new truck. I drove it home and came back the next day. And I was up at his house probably 6 days a week for the next 5-7 years. So we both opened gyms.
Yeah, no, he seemed. You don't know. I'm not that close to him, but he always seemed like he'll talk a bunch of crap, but he seemed like he was actually generally a really good dude.
Oh yeah, he likes it. He likes it. He got shock value.
Yeah, he likes to run his mouth, and
but he is a great dude. Like a good person, caring.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys, funny. A lot of the guys that people think are the pricks are like the nicest guys in life.
Oh man, I tell you the funniest time. I one time John's hilarious too. We go. So me and him are at a 7-Eleven. Right, and he's got some stuff. He's got up at the thing, and he's like, he looks at guys funny, like this kind of bigger Mexican guy with tattoos, like looking at him. Why you looking at me like I owe you money? John looks at him. Why? Do you? I was like, no. Where's my money? How much you owe me? Come on, where's my money? I was like.
Yeah, right.
wouldn't leave that. And then John paid for something. He paid for something. Wouldn't leave. This guy would just stand by the cash wouldn't even walk outside. John walked outside and sat there and ate his food right outside the door.
Yeah, John's a scary looking people. People don't know who he is. He's a scary looking guy.
I'm like, who picks? John's got his nose is far.
Yeah, why would you pick a fight with that guy?
Why are you picking a nose, John? Why you want to? But it was so funny, like him punking him like that. I was like, oh, why? Do you?
Yeah, right. Yeah, he's a little crazy. I remember we were in Hawaii and a bunch of big Samoans walked by. And like, oh, you guys used to beat me up when I was a kid, the beat up Halle day. But he just starts this bark, and I'm just like, oh my God, John's about to get us fought by like a bunch of Samoans. But they look at John and they're just like, hey, they start joking with him instead. They take one look at him like, let's be cool with this guy instead of talk crap.
Oh, dude, I remember walking in because he told me the stories. And I went there first time I went to Hawaii. I was actually going out. John Lewis had opened a school out there, and I was helping him out there, going out and staying a little bit. The first time I've been out there, I wasn't well known at the time, barely. And I was going out there, and John wanted me to take some shirts to Guillotine, his old karate instructor, right? And I'm going, and they sent me to the Palama settlement, which is like
beside the white people don't go to.
Yeah, and then like when I was trying to get directions from at the Zippies, they're like, Why you want to go there? Oh, you sure you want to go there and start?
Yeah, right. You might not want to go there, Howie.
And so I go there and I get out of the car and we're like walking and these three big smoke. What you doing here, Howie boy? I'm like, oh man.
Oh shit.
I'm thinking to myself, did John's fucking? Did he really do this to me? Hey man, I'm just here to drop some shirts off for Guillotine, man. I don't want any trouble with you guys. Oh, Guillotine, oh yeah, Guillotine's right down there. Go down there. Like all of a sudden I was fine, but I was like, oh man, John's trying to mess with me. He was trying to mess with me.
But no, it's great. I don't know if it's still like that, but yeah, when I first started going to Hawaii, like 2000 and stuff, there's certain areas you couldn't really go to. I don't know if it's just because change or because they love fighting. Because now I can go anywhere I recognize. Fighting's huge in Hawaii. It's like they're like Jake.
Respect, Well, it's like that's a respect. Once. Those guys, all my friends out there, like the guys I've known for a while, they give you a shirt off your back. Mm-hmm. If you're an outsider, you're an outsider.
Yeah, right. It's like,
but you're making it. You're on the inside. You're good. Mm-hmm. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like I love the Hawaiians. I get treated amazing there. So it's like, but when I first went there, I remember getting in a couple fights with like Nick Diaz and stuff. We got in a couple scraps because he was be mouthing, and it's like they love to fight in Hawaii. Like I've seen like street fight videos, and the guys are doing like technical boxing. They got jiu-jitsu. It's just such a fighting culture.
Oh yeah, it's awesome out there. Out there.
But even such a small island, they got BJ Penn, Max Holloway. They got some killers out of there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Sure. Oh yeah. Oh, also John, off subject a little bit, but he was the power puncher, and that's what your style. Those overhands, those overhand rights, the hooks, and that's part of the reason why you're so popular. You just put people to sleep. That's mostly from John, right? It
yeah, like John. He I had that snap. I had stuff, but John put it together. Like he helped me find it where I could call it out. I could have it anytime. Like it taught me to throw from different angles, different stuff. So like I always had I knocked a lot of people out with elbows and stuff growing up and stuff, and just I had that snap. I could, but
you already had power, but he just took you he just takes that like over the top.
How to land that and how to set it up and a lot of it had to do with like setting those things up. And I mean, you throw it. You just throw it. It's not easy to land.
Yeah, in a street fight it's easy, but not like in a real fight. It's hard hitting.
Fight guys are it's not. But you land that stuff by throwing different things, setting different things up. Mm-hmm. I always thought it was funny. Jeremy Horn after the second fight was saying, "Man, I didn't know you had straight right."
Mm-hmm. You got straight right. You got a jab. You got
all those things. Those things are what set up that overhand. Like usually it's because they're worried about. I hit them with a hard straight right. That's when I can land that overhand because they're worried about me with that straight right, so they're backing away from it too far, and I can catch them.
Yeah. You'll see people that don't understand fighting that well being like, "Oh, Chuck's sloppy. He doesn't know what he's doing." It's like, dude, he's setting that overhand up. It's very technical. It's funny. You see you guys making fun of talking shit on fighters. Like last season, this guy was trying to be, look how sloppy he is. Like, dude, he's knocking everyone out. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, I throw it from a lot of different angles with a lot of power. So that makes it unorthodox and harder to block and harder to stop me from hitting you.
And you're mixing body shots in and head kicks and
they got people. One of my favorite ones is like got people always talking about boxing versus kickboxing for MMA, and they start talking about really you're talking about different sports. Mm-hmm. There's a different timing, different distance, different way to throw things. I used to tell guys I work with some pretty decent boxing coaches but all of them, all I'd say is, look, one thing, this is my stance. This is the stance I'm going to be in when I fight in MMA, so I'm not changing it.
The stance is different between boxing and MMA.
From here to there, everything else, I'll listen to you. I'm here to learn. Go. But if you want to change my stance, sorry, I can't. I won't fight that way. Because I remember when we first started trying to figure out how to do make. So one of the things I used to is people get so used to kickboxing stance when they're kickboxing. Then they'd start, and they'd wrestle in a wrestling stance.
Completely different stance.
Then they fight.
So three separate stances,
Stance when they're fighting. So, I mean, I remember Koscheck coming in and sparring, and he got Scott Lighty took him on with the double leg.
As a kickboxer,
When they were doing kickboxing,
so
Scott was a straight kickboxer. Mm-hmm. He was a good kickboxer, good training partner, training partner. He started doing mixed martial arts after that, but he actually didn't really know how to throw him. But we always had a thing where anytime sparring, doing kickboxing sparring, Anytime you're sparring, you could do it. You could shoot a takedown.
Yep.
So that
I
way,
think everyone should always spar that way.
You had to be ready for a takedown anytime. So you couldn't get all but Koscheck was all up trying to be a kickboxer, and all of a sudden I died laughing. You just got to take him down by a guy that doesn't even know how to wrestle.
Yeah.
You know, you're a three-time national champ, like at wrestling, Division I.
Yeah, no, exactly. I see you guys take him down like that. Well, I think it's like probably the main arts are, like kickboxing, boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, but you have to adapt them all. And it was just cool. We were kind of the first generation, or maybe first, second, kind of in between when we were like figuring this stuff all out. We were brainstorming. It's such fun days, right?
Put things together. It was fun times.
Yeah, we were open-minded. We were in there playing around, like, oh, what if we try this? What if we try that? It was just...
that was the thing. Like, and how are you going to combine this with that? And how are we going to... How do we spar? How do we train it? Like, how do
exactly.
What's the right way to? What's the right way to put this stuff together? You know, like,
do we do big gloves or small glove sparring? How much do we do each? It's so cool being from the early generations figuring that out.
I tried to do. Okay, some guys I put big gloves on and just have them just try to wrestle me. Like those guys that were just wrestlers come and try to take me down.
Yeah.
Now I can hit them with the big gloves. But
I think doing sparring with the big gloves with takedowns made my wrestling better because I had to learn to run those takedowns with those big gloves, and it helped my angle so much.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but having to do that reaction, and learning how to defend a shot, doing how to punch, but being in a position at all times to strike from there.
Mm-hmm. So, we were very open-minded too. We were willing to try new things, troubleshoot stuff. Then Scott Adams brought out the leg lock, started leg locking people. Oh, yeah. It's like it was constantly evolving, trying new shit. Some of the gyms that weren't willing to try stuff, and they're the ones that fall behind.
Yeah, 100%. At that time, especially you had to be ready to evolve.
I think there's never been a sport that's evolved so quick between 93 to 2013. Think of like that change, that 20-year. It's still changing, but not at the same speed. That speed martial arts change was just unreal.
Oh yeah, I always thought it was the best thing that happened in martial arts was because like I always used to laugh like, oh, you're bastardizing the art. Well, what do you mean? You take my original karate was and Isu and Ishii combined 3 different arts to make Koikon in 53. Why did we have to stop evolving then?
Exactly. Everything should be.
Hey, it's 93 now. Why do we have to stop evolving that? And one thing that I think the UFC coming out did was put everybody on notice that hey, if you don't know how to at least defend
Jiu-Jitsu,
and Jiu-Jitsu, you're not going to win a fight.
Yeah, no, it's just completely.
You're in a lot of trouble. It's just you have to know a little bit. You have to at least be somewhat proficient.
Yeah, you have to at least be decent at them. Because I think, initially Jiu-Jitsu was dominating, and then wrestling started dominating, and you were one of the early guys to bring back striking to dominating.
Yeah, and that was one of the things. Like when I started doing, one of the things I consciously did when I started learning Jiu-Jitsu, as I was taking things John said to me and Scott said to me, and I was combining them together to help me get up.
Yeah,
like I kind of used my Jiu-Jitsu. I concentrated on. One, I try to learn all the submissions I could. Why? Because I need to know what you're trying to do to set me up.
Yep.
Because if I don't know what you're trying to do, it's easy to fall into something.
I think to learn defense, you should learn how to do it. And you have like a good armbar and stuff.
To learn, you have to learn how to do it to understand how to defend it. But I really concentrated on getting out of bad positions and standing up. Because I didn't have time, because I was already fighting in the UFC. I didn't have time to become complete ground guy. So I got really good at that, and then as the years went on, I got better and better at the other stuff.
Yeah, I think what you got to do is figure out the parts that work and add those in. Look, okay, this is what I really need to learn right away. You can add other stuff later. So focus on that. You don't need to learn the whole art of each of these arts.
It's just like I like a lot of stuff with the guys. Like you give me like my wrestlers, like guys that come to me with a wrestling background. First, we're going to teach you how to take a guy down and not get submitted from there. Be on top. You can ground and pound. You're going to do that. You can beat most of these guys at the beginning because you're a great wrestler and they can't. They're not going to be able to control. You can control where the fight's fought, and you're not going to get submitted right there. I'm going to teach you how to not get submitted. Then the next element to that, we're going to teach you how to submit people.
Yep.
Because Now, because if you can take him down, you get control. You're gonna be able.
You want to end the fight if you can.
Yeah.
But initially, the important thing is if you can learn to ground and pound without getting submitted. But
Yeah,
obviously, you want the guys learning to submit people, pass guard and stuff too. Even if they're not using it, they should learn it because it makes them understand it better.
Yeah, 100%. But that is the other thing too. Like I tell people, like you can't just because people used to always ask me like, how do you stop a takedown? Well, that's a
It's a complex question.
That's a very complex question. If you're asking, if you're going against a wrestler, now if you got a guy that's got one move, okay, I can show you how to defend one move. Like, how do I defend a straight single leg? Okay, or a straight double leg? Okay, I can give you something pretty simple for that. But if it's a wrestler, a good wrestler, he's gonna go from that. He's gonna counter with that, and then he's gonna go to that. He's a chain wrestler.
They chain it together, exactly. The top guys chain it.
So, well, if he does this, he's going to do that. Then he's going to do this, and then he's going to go for that, and then he might go for this. But then and there are other guys that have their own way of doing things. Like, I like one of the takedowns you like a lot. It's technically, people say you're not supposed to drop
the head outside. I'm not supposed to do it, but it works great.
Great.
Take down like Olympians and shit with it.
Yeah, exactly. So if it works right, But I think a lot of stuff changed for me. Like when I started doing, when I stopped wrestling in college, I didn't go back in the wrestling room for like 5 years because I was just doing kickboxing.
Yeah.
When I started doing MMA, I went back in the wrestling room. My jiu-jitsu actually back then, because no one knew what I was doing, like actually helped me with a lot of things.
You were getting like sweeps with these guys.
I'd be like about to lose my top position. I just roll through armbar and roll back up on top of it. So they're like, wait, what did he? What
did he just do? Yeah.
What did he just do? But it was like, it was fun.
Yeah, no, ideally it's mixing the two, and that's what I always wanted to be on top. But early on, I started forcing myself to go to guard to develop it. And, I was one of the early guys that started blending jiu-jitsu and wrestling together. And it's like, I think it's so important when you can blend it to be almost one art. Methylene blue has been used for over 100 years for medical purposes and recently surged back into popularity. It has been shown to help repair brain tissue and improve memory, cognitive function, energy, and mood. Research suggests that methylene blue could have neuroprotective effects, possibly aiding in conditions like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and depression. Go to MerakiMedicinal.com and use the promo code FIGHTBACK for a discount. Competing at the highest level has taught me the importance of supporting my body so I can always feel and perform my best. Unfortunately, we're seeing a generational decline in men's testosterone due to lifestyle choices, diet, and environmental toxins. This can lead to fatigue, diminished strength, reduced libido, mood swings, and overall loss of vitality, keeping you from feeling like your best self. That's why I recommend Men's Edge from Neutronics Lab. It's more than just a booster. It combines Finnegeek, IGF-1, and NO2. Sign up for AutoShip today and receive 50% off every order. Visit Neutronics Labs now and use the code FIGHTBACK for an additional 10% off your first purchase. Yeah, so growing up, you grew up in Santa Barbara, correct?
Born raised in Santa Barbara, yeah.
It's a cool town, huh?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Had a good time. It's funny thing. Like, why didn't you go back when you're done with school? Why didn't you go back to Santa Barbara? Like, went up to San Luis Obispo. I was there for college. I said, well, funny thing was, I think part of it was I still had guys want to fight me over shit that happened in high school. And I was like, dude, like, you beat my brother up. I'm like, bro, like, that was, what was that, 10 years ago? I'm sorry. Can I buy him a beer?
Sorry.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like, I'm really, I'm sorry. I wouldn't even know why we got in a fight, but okay, sorry. But like, that was just kind of a weird thing, like I didn't, that was one of the things where, maybe I'm better off just kind of starting.
Not going there,
yeah. So.
Did you get in fights all the time growing up?
Growing up, I fought a lot. Yeah. I liked fighting, and I didn't like bullies, and it was easy to find people trying to pick on people, and oh, hey.
Yeah, no, same. I don't think I was ever looking for trouble. I think the times were different back then too. I think people just fought a lot more, or they'd run their mouth a lot more. It was just normal.
Well, I think people. It was more of a because it was more of a like, okay, you fight, and it wasn't. I don't think people made as big a deal about it either.
Yeah,
like, it was
less likely to press charges, less likely to get shot or stabbed. I mean, every now and again, saw a few friends get shot or stabbed, but it was rare.
Yeah,
it wasn't the norm.
It wasn't the norm. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, I never ran into. pretty much I stayed out of trouble with the law for, stay out of trouble in general. I think one of the things that helped with me though was like I drop guys if he wants to keep fighting, when he wakes up, I'm over here if he wants to fight me. But I wasn't one to jump on someone after I hurt him. So I didn't I had a couple of buddies that spent some time in jail during growing up, and that was one of the things that the problem was they hitting guys after
After down,
I got jumped by like 4 dudes and but it was the fact that he kicked a couple of them after they went down.
So they were badly hurt.
They got pissed at him. But it's like, dude, 4 guys attack a guy. I ain't mad at him for what he did, but whatever.
What's your favorite move in a street fight?
Elbow.
Well, he's coming, cracking with it.
Clean elbow. I used to do clean elbows. I could catch guys' elbows all the time. But yeah, I did just about everything. I jumped off of cars, flying side kicks. I did spin back fists. I've done everything.
Yeah, you're one of the few guys that feel like head kicks in street fights and grab people. And
yeah, I did that quite a few times. Yeah.
People need to realize a street fight's very different than like a cage fight. There's obviously huge similarities, but lots of differences.
One time I was in slow and I'm driving down the street, and I pulled up a red light right by Tortilla Flats, and there was a red light, and I saw these 3 guys beating up this guy on the ground, and I just put my car in park, got out, ran over, kicked the guy off, and then I had one guy held on top of the other guy, holding the guy down, like his arm behind his back. And then this guy came running up, and I just kicked him.
Oh, wow. Up kick on him.
I just bang, got him right in his hand, out. Just go to sleep. But, I did quite a few fights like that. It was a lot of fun out there. Yeah.
Is what's crazy is after doing like professional fighting and then you hit someone on the street, they usually just like claps. You're just like, we're used to like being able to take shit. You're like, oh, that was easy.
Whoops.
Yeah, it's a good feeling. I mean, I haven't been fighting years, but something about that's just such a rush. Just hitting. Oh.
It was clean. Yeah, it's fun. We had a lot of crazy times out there. But.
Yeah, actually, once I started fighting professionally and training, I stopped getting in street fights, or a lot less often at least. I'm like, oh, I needed something to put my energy towards.
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, as I grew older, I realized it was I was like fight, but it wasn't much competition either. Like most of the guys, it wasn't really worth it.
You get too good, where it's not even fair.
The guys want. I think guys want to get press charges. You hit him. Why you press charges on him? Like, see a guy hit a guy. Like, hey, where's he at? Trying to press charges. I'm like, hey, gosh, come here, cops. Hey, that guy hit that guy, and he just defended himself. They're like, okay, we'll take care of it.
People want to sue too, especially be like, Chuck's got money, I'm going to sue. Like someone started a fight with Nate and they're trying to sue him.
It's like, it's just lame. That's what it is.
Yeah, back in the day, you could like challenge someone to a duel in your honor. We almost should be able to do it with fist fights still,
That you should. What is that? I heard a comedian one time. You should be able to say whatever you want to me, but I should be able to respond with any way I want.
Exactly. People think twice.
Don't think twice. If you want, you can have whatever opinion you want, but if you're gonna state it, if you're gonna come at me with it, let me have whatever response I like. Then I'm good with that.
Yeah, for me, it's very rare in the real world that anyone ever gets mouthy, so I usually stay out of trouble. Like, people talk crap online. But
I don't. Yeah, that's normal. Like I tell people that all the time. I told my son one time, like he was complaining about some kid online, back in the day. This was back my oldest son. And I said, look, man, son, he was upset about something saying. I'm like, look, man, do you know him? No. Does he know you? No. Have you ever talked to him? No. Do you look up to him? Is there a reason why you admire him or something? No. Then why do you care what he thinks? And if you do, get off the internet.
Exactly.
Get off social media. If that bothers you, get off social media because you're not for it. Because if you haven't done anything that like, why do I give a shit about your opinion?
Exactly.
If you haven't done something that makes me
No, I
care
couldn't
about
agree
it.
more.
Like,
The only thing I cared if another fighter talks crap, I feel like that's my world, and it's like, no,
yeah,
that's not. Otherwise, I don't care at all.
Well, we talked about that earlier, but like, you stepping into art, you want to,
You're challenging me in my realm. I felt like, normal. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
But I do remember the first time I read people talk crap at me online. It kind of stung a little bit. I'm like, why are they talking crap about me? But to me, I think it's funny. I still have a couple friends though that won't go online because they can't handle reading bad comments about themselves.
Yeah, that is just funny though. But I remember even back when I was working at the bars, like back in the day, a guy like you kick a guy out and he'd be walking down the street saying, "I'm gonna kick your ass. I'm gonna do this." I'm like, "But you let him get away with that?" I'm like, "He's walking away, right?"
Yeah, right.
if he was really serious about it, he'd be coming this way. We could handle it, but he's not. So we're good.
It's weird for me. The only thing that gets me pissed now if like someone talks crap to a friend. If they talk crap to me, it doesn't even bother me. But for some reason, I'm more protective of my friends than myself.
Oh, 100. It's always that way. Like for me, like that's the thing. Like, that's really what makes a difference for me. Like you're trying to come after my friends, my family, or someone. That's when we might have a problem. But like coming after me, like, hey, Luke.
No, I can just ignore it.
I remember back in the day, the guy when I was working at the bars, I had a guy who was take a swing at me with cut his arm, put it around his mouth. You sure you want to do this?
Yeah, it's not going to go well.
Probably I'll let you go, and you want to try it again. We'll see.
Yeah, I remember once someone was mouthing off to Gil Melendez. He obviously could handle it himself, but I ran over. It was some giant guy. Choked him out real quick. Then he wakes up and starts mouthing off to me again. I'm like, bro, I could have just killed you. So if you make me fight you again, I'm going to hurt you. So really think about this before you step. If he thought for a second, he's like, all right, never mind.
Good choice. Good decision.
Yeah.
The best decision you made today.
Yeah, no, it's like, dude, you're going to get hurt. But I think, maybe you're confused too. You get choked out. He's probably like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But he run up to Gil for no reason, like talking shit, because Gil's way smaller. Obviously, Gil could have knocked him out, but it just really pissed me off for some reason.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't like that either. Like, I just don't pick on my friends. Like, hey, and I remember times saving people from people in the bars. Like, hey man, I'm not saving him from you. I'm saving you from him.
Exactly. My friends will hurt you.
He's going to hurt you. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I think so. When I first moved to Slow, I think like 97, 98. When did you first fight in the UFC? I think you maybe fought in the UFC.
98.
You were like kind of known around. You weren't like
UFC 17, 98.
Yes, you weren't known in the real world, but everyone's like, oh, that Chuck Liddell guy is like badass. So that's just like
I was locally. I was one up because I've been doing kickboxing. So that my kickboxing championship or whatever would get in the paper and stuff, so people knew me there.
Yeah,
and I worked at the bars forever, so like people knew me.
Always girls around you, and I'm like, I want to be famous. That looks fun.
We had a good time, man.
Yeah, you took advantage of fame.
Yeah.
As you should, right?
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't accused of not having a good time. That's for sure.
Yeah, you're definitely not accused of that. I'm like, damn, Chuck Liddell has some fun. But what's the point of getting famous otherwise, I suppose?
Yeah, good old days. It was good times.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good memories, man. It was a blast. Because even the fight team, we traveled to places to have 8 fights in a night.
Right.
Going to all those different places, and it was cool.
I think it really just grows you closer when you're in a gym, training together, bleeding together. There's something about that. You just can't match that because fighters always become so close. And even fighters that don't know, you feel like they're your brothers,
Yeah, for sure. It was always, it was fun, man. I do miss having a fight team and doing all that stuff. It was good.
Yeah, no, it's hard walking away. The first year of retirement was tough, right? For me, I'm like, oh, this is hard. This is like all we know. And now you got to go and adapt to civilian life.
Be normal.
But yeah, I remember was it your second fight? You flew down to Brazil to fight Pele Lande, who's one of the top fighters in the world, absolute savage. I think you went there like by yourself or with like a friend.
Yeah, well, Nick Baumgar came with me.
Yeah.
Nick came down with me.
That was such a war, dude. You beat the crap out of him. You guys were just in Brazil.
That was a good time.
There.
And it's funny because we'd heard all these crazy stories about Brazil. Well, the fans were great. I had a good time down there. But we walk out, we get in the ring, and they were doing this whole thing. And we separate, and the guy still in the middle was it was like his like manager or whatever was the referee. Isn't that his manager? Was that his manager? Did they say that was his manager?
Crazy.
And like, don't worry about it. Okay, let's go. I guess that's what we're doing.
Yeah, a lot of people are scared to go to Brazil, but it never bothered me because the crowd's really aggressive. They'll like chant, "You will die," but I'm just like, whatever. You probably have the same
and
mindset.
The funny thing, and the same thing, and I think a lot of it had to do the problems they were having down there with fights in the crowd and stuff like that, crazy stuff that you're hearing, was because it was this gym versus that gym, local gyms. The out of town gyms, they really didn't have any animosity towards you as a fighter. You know, that because you're not. It wasn't. Like, it wasn't. They didn't have that rivalry, local rivalry.
There was massive rivalry fighting.
They had more of a. I think it was more that local rivalry that was causing those kind of fights that were causing problems.
No, that's true.
Not the
they would like yell and chant against you, but I found
Yeah.
Brazilians were actually treating me really good, and their culture, they'll never come in your personal space because they know you might punch them. You know, we were talking about the videos I'd watched with you earlier, the thing I filmed for you, how guys are walking up with their hands out talking shit. Brazil, they'll never do that because their culture, they're going to fight you if you walk in that personal space talking crap.
If you have that. When it's okay,
they have that understanding.
You have an understanding.
Yeah.
If you have that understanding with people. They don't have that comfort that you're not going to do that. That's not a surprise to them that when you hit them.
Yeah, so they'll yell from a distance, but they won't come in your personal. At least from my experience, they would never come in my personal space and be disrespectful because they understand, like culturally, that guy might punch me in the face.
Yeah, they know if they step in that, they're risking a fight.
Yeah, I don't think they like sue and stuff in Brazil. I think it's like, oh, you're fighting.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting culture. I mean, overall, I like Brazilians. I give them a lot of crap, and feuded with them a little bit. But overall,
that was a fun fight. That was a 30-minute round.
It's
crazy.
Was it a 30-minute round? That bare knuckle too. Bare knuckle.
Bare knuckle, and they had that net from the bottom of the rope to the.
So you couldn't escape the.
Couldn't roll out the bottom. I had it, and at the end, I had him pinned underneath that. I
beating it.
The net.
I still remember that part. Bare knuckle. He's covered in blood. His head stuck in the net. That's just such a good fight. Pele Lande. I remember in Japan, I would have Japanese fighters. They would slide under the ropes, and the Japanese refs would allow it. But if I tried it, they would like give me like a yellow card.
Yeah,
I'm like these fucking weasels.
Yeah.
Everyone acts like, oh, honorable Japan. I'm like, I don't know. They do some shady shit. You fought in Japan too, right?
Yeah, I fought out there. Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, that's wild too.
But I don't know. I mean, I'm talking about it was better than I always laugh about the first time I fought over there in Pride. We go out there and they go for a piss test, right? Mm-hmm. And so I walk in this room and they hand me a cup, right? They say, "Yeah, I'm all okay. Where do you want me to piss?" Because usually in the U.S.,
they watch you. They literally watch your dick to make sure you're not cheating.
Watch you piss, right? So, but they go, go down that corner, take a right and a left. I'm figuring I'm gonna go down there. There's gonna be someone
there watching it.
Right? I get in there, I pull in and go to the bathroom. There's no one there. I'm like, okay, so I fill up the cup, right? I'm bringing it back. I'm like, okay, where do I put this? Oh, you signed it. You put the top on and signed it. Yeah, okay, just put it right there.
So it was this fake drug test.
I'm like, what the? Okay, all right, that's not a.
They were all so juiced out in Pride.
I'm all that. Okay, they're just doing it for us.
Yeah, I guess
that's for show. I guess
so they could say they drug test. I guess. I don't know.
That wasn't. Yeah, there was no. I don't think. I could have had anybody be in that cup.
Yeah, and Pride was wild. It was like a real competitor with the UFC for a while. It was like Pride and UFC were like the two spectacular shows.
Yeah, it was awesome. But it was. I think it was always better for the fans once you put it all under one umbrella. It's better for the fans.
No, I agree.
As a like having an NFL like main thing for the.
If they had both, it'd be nice if they would do crossover fights, but then they would never agree to. I remember people wanted you and Anderson Silva to fight for so many years. Vanderlei. Not Anderson. I messed it up. You and Vanderlei.
And then we wound up fighting a lot later, but it would have been nicer when we were both.
Because you fought in your prime. You still got to fight though, at least.
And we would have got to fight for 5-round fight, and it would have been cool.
No, because that was a fight the fans wanted for so many years. It's funny. I was actually.
But there was always the argument. Then you have an argument. There's always an argument of who was the best at each weight because there's two organizations that were considered equal. Almost. It was like some people thought this was better, some thought that was better, and then, but once you combine them now we can find out.
You can actually see,
world champion.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the good part about other shows is paying things, but no other shows are hitting right now. Like PFL pays well, but they just haven't been able to build any hype, which kind of sucks. Like I have a fighter, Patchy Mix, 35-pounder. He's so good, but he doesn't get the hype he deserves, and it sucks seeing that. They pay him well, but
I'm not sure what the answer is for that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so it's so hard not being in the UFC. So if you're not in the UFC, you're just not getting the hype. So it's one of those situations that it gets tricky.
Yeah.
So, Do you watch much fighting nowadays or not really?
I still love watching fighting. I mean, people ask me, watch all the UFC. Well,
There's so many.
There's so many and so many fights, and I don't have only so much time. But yeah, I still like watching fights. I enjoy fighting. I always will. You know, but you know, and you know, it's when I have time, I watch the fight. So
Yeah, no, for a while I kind of took a break, but I'm starting to watch it again, and it's way more fun when you learn the fighters. So I didn't know who most of the new fighters were anymore. I remember going like training Sean Strickland. I had no idea who he was. I'm like, this guy's pretty good, and he's running his mouth. And I'm like, should I fight this guy? And then I'm like, oh, I like this guy after all. I forgot to know him. Just like, like, oh, then I look him up, like, oh, this is one of the top guys.
But yeah, it's good. That's what people ask me. Like they'll ask me, hey man, who do you think's gonna win in this fight? I'm like, well, I really haven't watched that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That much. And then when I watched him, I wasn't really because I watch fights different. I have two ways to watch the fights. I watch fights for fun.
Yeah.
And I watch fights to break someone down.
It's totally different. I agree.
Yeah. If you want me to break down a fight, I've got to watch 3 fights of this guy and the last 3 fights of this guy, the last 3 fights of this guy. I'll look at him and I can give you a general idea I can give an idea who I think will win. And
Yeah.
I think it's not like back in the day when I knew everybody and I watched all their fights and I've seen all their fights and I've actually trained with the guys that train them or I trained with them before. And then I was I could pretty much give you I'd be probably 9 out of 10 pick each fight. But then the one I lost usually was a heart bet. Was someone I really liked was fighting. I thought he had a better chance than he did.
Yeah, no, it's way harder to bet now because you have to really pay attention to every fighter, you know. So unless I actually know someone well and who both of them are fighting, like I said, I bet on Marab. That was a tough fight, but I've watched him train so much. I know he has that extra gear he can kick into, and I knew it'd be a tough fight. But I'm like, I think he can pull this off. He was a big underdog,
awesome,
but it was so cool back in the day. There wasn't very many UFCs, and it was like such an ordeal. Everyone would like gather up and be like, you'd know every single fighter.
Yeah.
So it was obviously it's better now with all the money and fame, like President Trump there. But there was something magical about the days when we were fighting when it was just like
it was really cool. But sports great, and it keeps getting better.
Well, yeah, it's definitely way better now. But I do like how like tough everyone used to be because everyone that fought back then was like crazy.
We had a lot more fighters.
Yeah, it was different, but overall, it's definitely better now, guys. The fame, the money,
and everything. It's like I tell people, like we were just trying to figure out how to mix it together and train it, right? And then now they're coming in and they're learning it from as a kid. They learn mixed martial arts from the start.
Yeah, because I came from wrestling. You came from wrestling and karate, and
well, you came from one of the advantages I had in the beginning was I came with 2 of the disciplines and just had to learn one.
Yeah, no, that's true. That was a huge. Almost everyone else had one discipline. You already had 2.
And I already had 2, so it was a real good. It was a real advantage to me, like and being able to kind of control where that fight was fought and doing those things. So,
is there any like favorite fighters you have nowadays, or just?
I like Poirier. Like he's training with Doctor, so I like him. And he's so relaxed, so calm. He's a good dude. I like the way his attitude and I like the way he fights.
Yeah, I hung out with him with Glover one day. His English obviously isn't that great, but you could tell he's a little like he seems really intimidating, but then after hanging out with him a little while, you can tell he's like, oh, he's actually really friendly and nice.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. You know, but I like a lot of fighters like out there. There's a lot of tough guys out there. And I like there's a lot of fun fights to watch.
Yeah, that Strickland, Duplessis, that'll be a good fight because I like both of those guys. That's going to be a good one at 85. Yeah, that's coming up soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. That's an exciting fight.
Yeah, that's a hard one to pick. I mean, the last one was basically dead even.
Yeah, I had Strickland last time. Actually, and I like like you said, I like both of them too. So I don't feel like I was biased at all.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when we watch a friend's fight, like. When we watch a friend's fight live,
he won.
I feel like he won, and I go back and watch it. Oh well, okay, I can see how he lost that.
It would suck to be a judge of some of these close fights. Sometimes you see a fight, and like, ooh, that was close. Like the Strickland fight you just mentioned, I wouldn't want to be a judge of that fight because I remember watching it and I was unsure who won. I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I was paying close enough attention to want to judge this.
Yeah, well, I think as a judge, you have to pay attention to each round, right? So, because that's the thing. And people try to
judge each round,
and people try to, but it's hard to like blank out the last round.
Yeah,
just to judge this round. Because it's one of those things like, like even like when he beat Adesanya, if he hadn't dropped him in the first round, he might not have won that fight.
No, that's true. These fights are close.
He might not have won that fight because just because of how hard they make it to. Sometimes they get these judges in their head that the guy they think is going to win.
Oh yeah, sometimes just thinking someone's going to win. Yeah,
he's going to win. He wins that for close win by the other person in the first round. Instead, gives it to that one. And if you have a couple close rounds, early rounds that are close, and they're given the wrong way, then you could lose a fight that you should have won.
Yeah, sometimes like on paper, someone will be the better striker, but they might be losing the striking match. But people think like, oh, because it's standing where he wants to be, they're not like actually watching what's happening.
Right. Yeah, I've seen it where, and then other times you see guys. Referees just don't know what they're talking about. But I forget it was. I saw it on Ultimate Fighter, and I was watching it, and it was a fight that went into overtime, right? And the overtime round, basically, cause they do the 2 rounds and then went overtime, right? Overtime round. I mean, both guys were gassed and didn't throw much. I think one guy threw like 3 punches, landed 1. The other guy threw like 4 punches, didn't land any. And they gave it to the guy that landed none. I'm like,
what did you?
That round, like one of the judges did. The other 2 gave it to the other guy. But it was like,
what the hell did you watch?
What did he do to win that round? Like he was being.
Some of these judges are idiots. In Ultimate Fighter, you coached 2 seasons, the very first season, right? And that's what really just skyrocketed you. And after you fought Randy, and that was.
It made a difference between walking through a mall, and like I said, we were talking about earlier, like picking out who could. Who beat me, and it was all that like people just all of a sudden just everybody like, oh, hey, I saw you the other night, and we did a lot of stuff. I was traveling around with Dana a lot, and we were up promoting the sport and going doing a lot of things, and a lot of things I did were trying to get stuff like we went after doing the entourage thing. We did a lot of different like.
That's right. You did a bunch of TV stuff too. They put you,
trying to promote. I wasn't. People are, oh, that was a good job promoting your brand. I'm like, I wasn't trying to promote my
help
brand.
the sport.
I was trying to promote a sport I loved.
And
that was kind of. I think it just comes across that way too.
Yeah, and there's things I'm critical of Dana about, but he's definitely done a lot to grow the sport. I would never deny that. The guys.
Well, yeah, I always say before him and Lorenzo came in. I mean, when I was in the sport, it was. A home run was making $150,000 a year.
I remember.
And by the end of my career, I was making that on my shorts.
No, exactly.
For my short,
difference.
My sponsorship for the fight. So it was like, it was a big difference. If they hadn't come in, I don't know if we would have got there when I was still fighting.
Yeah,
I know we would have.
Yeah, the Fertitta brothers were awesome. A lot of people don't even know they're behind the scenes, like the one that bought it, and they were heavily involved too. They sold
for sure.
Like 4-point-something billion.
Yeah, they cashed out well, and I'm happy for them, man.
For sure.
Because we wouldn't have what we have today for them. We wouldn't be making this kind of money. We would have made this kind of money. We would have had this kind of growth in the sport. And these avenues all of us have, still being able to make money after we're done.
Yeah, it was looking like the sport was possibly going to die before they bought it.
Right.
So I remember that's where we went to that camp, and that's where I met them. They're putting the money in it. They're trying to talk about, what can we strategize? And then it just, it was after the Ultimate
that was how Dana became my manager in the first place, because he was actually the first guy who was coming in and trying to get us other things. He was trying to get us not trying to get us on Black Belt magazine. He wanted us on Muscle and Fitness.
Yeah, ESPN.
He wanted on real, like he wanted to get real. He was really looking forward going outside the box and getting better sponsors, better stuff for me. So.
The Fertitta brothers had so many connections too, like with the athletic commission. They're able to get that pushed through. They're able to, you could tell they have that old school mentality of like obviously the mafia was dead, but they kind of come from that like seem like the family where it's like getting favors. But they always treated me good, man. Like they'd give bonuses sometimes, so like I got nothing bad to say about them. Like sometimes my fights I got paid more than my contracted fight. I had a bonus off Lorenzo calling me, being like, "Hey, I'm gonna." Remember first time seeing Lorenzo call, I'm like, "Oh shit, am I in trouble?" And like, "Oh, this is good news, not bad news." So. Well, cool. I think we could wrap up pretty soon. Anything you want to plug or?
Oh man, it's we got kingofviolence.com. Check us out. I got some, and just check me out on my socials. Just
Chuck Liddell. You can find you everywhere. Yeah.
Find me everywhere. Just wherever you follow.
Cool, man. Thanks a lot, Chuck.
Thanks,
Talking to you.
Thank you.
Perfect. I think we're pretty much right around an hour, so perfect.